So welcome everyone to this afternoon session. Our topic is it's actually a vast topic, so it's going to be very hard to tackle it in half an hour. But as AI and digital assets converge, we see it challenging the rules of finance, at least, if not fundamentally altering it. So we're here to try to unpack that with our esteemed panelists in here. They'll each bring their own insights into the topic. So without due delay, would you care to give a bit of a briefing about yourself and your backgrounds, please? Starting with you, Dominic.
I was very lucky to be asked by the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority back in 2016 how to mitigate the geopolitical risk of the current financial networks. Tricky question, which got me into blockchain. So the characteristic of blockchain, but also obviously most recently Abu Dhabi and the UAE has been taking a great lead in AI investment via people like EDQ and G42. So have some insight into some of those pieces as well.
Great, thank you. Jean-Marc?
So I manage a regulated investment management firm in London, Tellurian Capital, and we do manage a number of systematic crypto hedge funds for the last now 5 years. That's my first angle on the topic, and then I also participate through a foundation in Switzerland to a number of deep edge AI projects on the theme of distributed AI and distributed intelligence. So I've got the two topics going.
So, okay, I think I can call myself more of a market structure person who likes to think about, who actually likes to look at the technologies, literally break them apart and build new business models around that. So I've done that in electronic trading, and I've been spending time on this next generation finance for a while. So, and I see everything as a tool. So you have the digital assets, digital world, and you have the AI, and there's a lot of new things to build. So that's my angle.
Thank you.
I am working on a company just doing that in a practical way.
Thank you all for the explanations. At my end, I'm with BDC Consulting. We've been helping both startups and large-scale crypto institutions with their growth strategy and reputation management. So let's dive in. This panel, we're gonna try to hold it as a simple Q&A style, and we'll try to cover as much as we can. So let's start with a big question. So with the convergence of AI and digital assets, do you think we're now building tools that help humans to trade and manage their digital assets, or we're moving towards a reality where AI agents are acting a bit more independently? So, Jean-Marc, can you kick this off for us, please?
Yeah, so the way I look into this is that, first, AI and digital asset, it's a marriage made in heaven, right? Clearly, because it meets intelligence and infrastructure, right, at scale, and applied to finance is a killer marriage. The way I look at it is that technology allows us to do so many more things now in finance. If you mix AI, blockchain, where effectively you have the basic exchange layer for value, then you have AI that can help you enhance your decision making. And then agenting AI is kind of the next generation AI that is not anymore based on deterministic requirements or human intervention. It goes one step beyond, and it allows you to really orchestrate the workflows and engage with the user in a way that is much more dynamic than we ever had. So I don't think we're in a world where the agent is going to dictate what choices, but is going to take on a much higher workload of the decision-making process that we had to do before, and that's transformational in finance.
Got it. Abuna, what's your take on it?
So my mental model about all these digital space is, more starting with a kind of an on-chain market structure. So, like a while ago, started thinking about like on-chain money, assets, how they will need to change, but also the way that markets are going to change. But then, the reality is these are not necessarily needed because they are like technology advancements. Actually, they think they are driven by needs of an industry where it actually really needs to distribute more products to more people in a more simpler way, in a risk-managed way, and so forth. So that's the kind of the on-chain digital vision. Then in that case, AI is really a tool. I mean, these are all tools, right? You break it into, I don't think about technology as just one big monolithic thing. So AI is a tool where you do think about, like, it allows for this future to be, accelerated, frankly, and take care of the on-chain challenges, but also UI challenges. So I do not see a completely agent-to-agent future immediately now, but I see a transition to that future as we move forward, connected with this on-chain development. So you cannot really separate them.
Understood. And Dan, what do you think?
Back to the question, I think right now we're building items that are AI that's helping us, right? If we look at the crypto markets, 24/7 has been toasted, we have settlement immediately and that's all marvelous, but it's quite fun to find trading people to actually run 24/7, right? Whereas an AI agent can be running certain execution activities right now, and that may be more against the decentralized exchanges because it's quite difficult to hook them in to a centralized counterparty, right? So some infrastructure is needed there. You're seeing AI agents that are, just AI platforms that enable co-creation. I can go and create a token and immediately have that posted across multiple chains globally within 20 minutes and have it audited, code in my GitHub. An individual will possibly check the code before it's gone live, but that's already there. And then, products like Wisdomize, which I know has got quite a lot of a Turkish user base, right? Yeah. That's already doing, and it's quite a heavy subscription model around guidance, signal monitoring. So that is definitely happening at this point in time.
And I think just to add, the killer tool in AI kind of toolbox that is new is the LLM, right? The generative AI, because classic AI was limited, and Gen AI is like a 10x enhancer of what AI can do for you. So it does basically, to me, I see that as an optimizer, right? It helps you to optimize your decision. It doesn't replace totally human decision process, but the layer of optimization between decision making, take a bit of this, take a bit of that, is superior. For instance, in our systematic trading strategies, we inserted an agentic AI layer to decide short term which sub-strategy is optimal for the next maybe 12 hours or 24 hours. And that's a decision that would have been very difficult to do with a classic AI or non-AI. So it does create, in a toolbox, it gives something very superior. Obviously, I'm talking here like classic finance, but if you apply it then to distributed finance or DeFi, as the panel before, then it's almost like indispensable. Because by definition, it's fairly autonomous DeFi, right? So there's much more leeway given to the system. So I can see anywhere I see Gen AI as being the kind of the killer app of AI in finance.
Yeah. Just now, we'll come back to the client-facing side in a minute, but it seems like at least. Do you think AI in this front is going to abstract away the financial dashboards, at least the way we interacted? What do you think? Is it going to?
We've already had. If I look a year ago or 18 months ago, everyone was building DeFi front ends, right? It was going to be, saw numerous investment decks on, the new Google for DeFi. It's very difficult to access DEXs. It's very difficult to get all that information. There's multiple different layers. They're all dead, right? AI enables me to go and access those without even having to go and access them myself. So, that is, I don't think it will kill those because we're human beings, we like to see visual representations and have some level of involvement. But the actual analytics and the components, to your point earlier, right now, this is information that's fed or at this point now learnt by the AI, interpreted by the AI, extrapolated out by the AI. They don't need to have an EMS, PMS that we understand it today.
The way I'll split the response in two. There's professional activity and retail. The dashboard will stay for retail. I think it'll be a more agile and more dynamic dashboard with a wallet at the end of it. On the professional business, including hedge funds or professional traders, there's no dashboard anymore. It's gone. It's called an API, right? So the missing link here is between AI and the market is the API. So it's code, basically. Code will replace dashboard, and AI will facilitate the optimization of the application of the code. And dashboard, actually, we found, that is where the risk arise in blockchain and crypto and any kind of sophisticated activity, because it's where it's a gateway between the digital world and the real world, and that is the point of failure. Usually data is given to a traditional finance onboarding house, and the dashboard is where you have a fragility in a chain. So I would swap a dashboard for an API anytime I can.
Mm-hmm. Can I maybe take this to a not that interesting side of financial market infrastructure, just to give it because these are all very nice, like these are the things that investment managers are looking at. These are interesting side of financial market infrastructure. But you also have all these like layers of operations in our markets today in traditional finance, and that are all also transforming themselves, and they are transforming to a world where they are, looking into real-world tokenized assets. They are looking at how to. This is just normal traditional finance, right? So those dashboards. The moment that I hear the word dashboard, it just kind of gives me clinch. They are not necessarily only for trading. They are actually for these operational activities. There are many people who look at those dashboards and do a bunch of stuff all over the world in traditional finance. So, I mean, just to bring that to that's very not that maybe interesting sounding, but quite interesting actually place. But those are absolutely the place where AI and agents are automating and replacing, and not the people necessarily, but those functions of looking at something and doing as a result for that, fixing a break, fixing a problem, that kind of things.
Yeah, and it could be replaced by a flag, right? The agent will. You won't have to go on the dashboard to see if there's an issue.
Exactly.
You'll be called by the agents that there is an issue. So you almost you can save a lot of the check your dashboard. It will be more proactive. That is the key word, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, one of the major shifts and changes are also going to be affecting it on the systemic level. So another question would be, do you think this convergence of AI and digital assets will finally bring about a truly global borderless finance, or the jurisdictional concerns are going to keep pulling us back to national limits? So that's something that I'd like you to take on first.
Brutally, no. I would love us to get to a nirvana of a decentralized global payments, global value move, global understanding of everything, because it's the differentials, the arbitrage that happens between countries and whatever. But countries, their financial networks, their financial systems are incredibly important to them. Data protection of that around is incredibly important to that. I think what you'll have is we'll have some level of if we are running an AI agent, right? We were just having a regulatory chat earlier. Saying about can't regulate DeFi. I mean, let's not forget, right? Blockchains are really just ledgers. And instead of you having a copy of your one and I'm having a copy of my one, we've all got a copy of the same one and we all agree it's exactly the same, rather than me challenging you if yours is yours and mine is mine, which is similar at a country level, your GDP versus my GDP, etc. Right? And so, the key benefits there is immutability and record keeping and quality of that record. So I think what you'll have is countries, absolutely looking at, where is this AI getting its data from? Is this a data that's in my remit? It might well be cloud, but is it a cloud region that's covering my country? There's been a lot of work across all different jurisdictions to do that. And then with the blockchain, I think we'll start looking at country level involvement in blockchain nodes that are being run by regulators, maybe regulation that is done by the AI, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll have, because supervision cost for regulator is huge. that could be done by an AI constantly 24/7 and extrapolating out massive possible, to your point, weaknesses or gaps in either infrastructure, whatever, far quicker than a person can. So I still think you're going to have, a global improvement, but with far still regulatory control around what you or I can do in our particular jurisdiction.
Understood.
Yeah, this is where I think there's a push and pull. And this is where this marriage I was describing between AI and digital assets is running into some trouble. Because AI definitely is becoming more nationalistic. The issue of data sovereignty is everywhere. It's becoming the topic of the day. And it's all about infrastructure, the infrastructure of AI, right? It's not about the usability of the application of AI. It's about the infrastructure. Get me my data in my country, in my family, wherever, right? So I'm afraid there's a nationalization of AI that is happening at the infrastructure level. At the application level, a bit less. And then on the other side of the fence, the digital asset is going more borderless. So there's this push and pull here. And clearly all this kind of DeFi concept and peer-to-peer is borderless by nature. It creates some issue with the regulator. Whereas the AI is national. And I don't have a silver bullet to reconcile the two. The bottom line, it will be reconciled at the use case level. Different segment of the industry, different segment of finance will find their accommodation on that sandwich between a nationalistic layer and a very borderless layer.
Well, money is also very nationalistic as well. So, and I just very simply trust in the business's ability to overcome these nationalistic borders. With actually, in fact, maybe the technology helping them to set up different types of operations in different places, because we are pretty good at doing this in traditional finance. In DeFi, you have, a lot of entrepreneurs in every country who are actually creating lots of interesting things. So I think ultimate goal of what I said about this whole more interesting products distributed and more engaged by the individuals and also institutions globally, I think it's actually possible more with this technology if one can tailor how to control some of these, address some of these challenges.
Yeah, I mean, there's on infrastructure, there's an alternative way to scale compute, which is the infrastructure, which is decentralized compute. So it's still early days, and I wouldn't say it's going to not replace data center, $1 trillion data center loaded with NVIDIA cards. However, you have now a number of projects that are effectively giving you infrastructure on demand, where you pull your infrastructure into a blockchain operator network, and then the user pulls where it's available, interruptible and marginal demand for compute. So that is a very interesting path. It can't replace the massive national data center, but it can use fulfill a certain more enterprise or SME type use case of running AI on your model of AI on a decentralized network.
Yeah, I mean, deepens are certainly an area of effect. But what about the client human-facing side? Now that, if we think about it, in digital assets, wallets are an integral, very important part of the fintech environment. And with AI taking space in the way we interfere with these instruments, what do you think is going to become of wallets? Are they going to become the new bank, or are they going to become something entirely different on their own? So, can you kick us off on this, Pinay?
Yeah. So, it depends on what you call bank. Banks do lots of different things. I mean, you can there's a spectrum. So you have your own wallet. Arguably, it's your wallet. You can have some assets there, and you can say you are bank of your own, right? You can have a wallet that's given to you by an entity, a bank, or otherwise that looks like, I mean, what we call narrow bank. It doesn't basically have any, it doesn't take, it doesn't use leverage. It doesn't go and invest in different types of instruments. You basically, they make money from fees. These stable coins are closer to that. And you have other banks where you have your deposit tokens. They can give you wallets and so forth. So I see a world where there will be I mean, these are all very valid things, and I probably will have a number of them at any point in time. And and they all have different value propositions, and they all have a different, interesting, like risk profiles and what the types of things that you can do. And wouldn't it be great to have an AI to actually precisely figure out which one to use for what reason, and then move your money from your deposit to here if needed, and back and so forth, program and all those kind of things. So I think they will be both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, there's no doubt. In 10 years, the bank, he might not be called a bank, he might be a non-financial institution delivering that solution. Mm-hmm. But we'll all have a wallet. It will be abstracted away that it's a wallet on blockchain, but it won't be written on it, but it will be. And then on that wallet, with your authentication, you can access tokenized assets. Mm-hmm. Also, what's missing is the ability, the actual tokenization of non-crypto assets. Today, we have tokenized successfully cash. There's $20 trillion of stablecoin have been exchanged every year, or last year was it already exchanged, which is tokenized cash. You add to that tokenized equities. I think a large exchange has launched tokenized Tesla and Nvidia shares. You tokenize crude oil, you tokenize bonds. You can have tokenized bonds today. And you integrate that as a delivery into a client wallet. The key has to be an integrated flow. It has all to be based on a stable coin integrated communication tool between those wallets and those assets. You give a nice GUI of UX/UI of bots with agenting LLMs. The first one that gives that to a client will be the winner of the bank race of 2030, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I see it slightly differently. So being a custodian right now, right? So what is a wallet? What are we looking after? We're looking after private keys, right? It's your ability to sign a transaction. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be a financial transaction. It could be access to your health records. It could be something you're booking a restaurant, sending to your kids. It is you, right? It becomes your identity of everything, of what you own. It's your record, right? If we get to that point. So you can, normally in my wallet, I might keep a little bit of cash. I've got cards, but they're normally capped at a certain limit. There's a certain value control on my physical leather wallet, right? Then I'm not comfortable holding a certain amount, and that's where people use us as custodians. In a future state where everything is recorded in this way, it'll be around what you're delegating to your AI, agentic AI, right, or whatever. Because for me, the link between the two and the blockchain and AI is, let's not forget, right, AI is now lying to people. AI is 30% hallucination still, which undoubtedly will get better. AI is sometimes protecting itself. We're not clear if it's actually giving its full power. So a blockchain, which gives you a record of exactly what's done and what can be signed on your behalf, and that wallet becomes incredibly critical in actually controlling the bounds of what the AI can do for you and or a company it's representing in every other state. So I don't think it's a UI experience. It's like your total, online, metaverse, that's the term seems to have gone now, or whatever. But that scenario this is what's going to enable you to keep control of whatever's being acted on your behalf, rather than just a digital asset move of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. It's basically going to be your digital identity, your digital copy. Right, on that note, if we fast forward to 2030, what do you think the future is going to look like from that perspective? Just considering the effect of the developments that has already happened or that are to come in the space of AI and digital assets. How do you see it unfolding from your unique perspective?
Go ahead.
So I think it's undoubtedly it will be the return of private monies through stablecoins. It is the heavy trend of the new kind of digital economy that is growing. Again, I said 27 trillion were exchanged, more than Visa alone or MasterCard alone last year. So it's a vote from the market, right? It's needed. Private monies are coming back after having left for 2 centuries. But I don't think it's going to be a situation where it replaces the incumbents. I think it's going to be a different layer, a more collaborative layer, a more, I would say, a new generation layer, a more Generation Z layer of exchange of value and investment. And it will be rebuilt on top of stable coins. And my vision is that most countries will condone stablecoin the same way the US of A are actually now passing a bill that will condone stablecoins officially, and then the rest of the world will follow very quickly, and every country will condone their own version of stablecoin. There might be some issues of local differences, but overall that's will be the winner. And the rest will be built on top of that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, as you say, 2030, so we're only,
2030.
what, 4.5 years away,
yeah.
right. I still think, well, I can tell you what it's not, right? I was at another summit and there was a banks there thinking all that's going to have happened in 4.5, 5 years is basic agentic AI is assisting their relationship manager and the relationship manager is still talking to you. I think those relationship managers better look at different career paths. I think I will just be dealing direct with an agentic AI at that point. I just don't think it's just going to be something that someone else is doing to then talk to me. Some people will still pay for that service, but I think it'll be very light. I think what we're going to have, to your point on the stable coins, absolutely, is stable coins right now, let's face it, it's Tether and Circle. I like them both, but I think people will start realizing we're now trusting companies rather than governments on the issuance and control of the underlying value move. Mm-hmm. And actually, is that the right thing? Linking back to the previous panel, could we get to some actual decentralization of that value move, which is what the original version, why we had mining, proof of work with Bitcoin, etc., rather than one company having that control? That would be a great thing. And if AI is enabling a lot of risk management control around that, regulatory control around that, governance, it in itself could ensure a more stable global financial system.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I just iterate on everything that's talked about. We just basically converge to a vision I think we all have been working towards in different capacities. So here, there is maybe another angle. I am interested in all of these things because it's the turn of turning that whole financial services product development, or maybe even beyond financial services, inside out, like from an attention-seeking economical models to intention-seeking economical models. Like I'd like to have the individuals being able to access the products that they know their risk, they know what to do, and they actually can go and move on this whole wallet conversation. I think we will be moving towards that intention economy, and I think it will be more understood as the need that we all. I think we all have it, but we didn't really think about it, that it's actually possible, because we went through the phase of platforms that kind of got us to subscribe and become part of it. And I think next phase should be different.
Perfect. Right. Obviously, this topic is very interesting and it's very vast, and in 30 minutes we'll never make it just do justice. So, thank you all for all the valuable insights. But just for everybody, they'll be around, and this topic is a very interesting topic. Try to catch them. They'll be very happy to talk to you about everything that's coming. So, thank you very much. Let's wrap it up that way.